Well, first of all, I would like to uh, to say thank you for you to be here with me in my channel to talk about backyard ultras. Uh, you said to me this is your first time talking to Brazil and in a live broadcast, so it's a pleasure. It's an honor to me and to the Brazilian ultra runners. So thank you, Meg, and good afternoon. Good afternoon there.
Thank you. It's an honor to be invited on. It's a pleasure to be here.
Okay, so my first question to you, Meg, I would like to talk about your career background and when you start running, when you start in ultramarathon. So I would like to know about that.
Yeah, so I started running in 2016, I believe it was. I did my first half marathon on roads.
Hmm.
I was 29 then. Um, I was dating my husband, and he wanted me to run a half marathon with him. And so we trained together. We trained up, and
Hmm.
um, the three of us went and ran. It was my friend's friend, or my boyfriend's friend, and myself and him, and we ran that half together. And I was hooked on running in general. We transitioned to trails pretty quickly, about 6 months later, and did our first ultra within 9 months. We did a 60K in the middle of a hurricane in Texas, and everything really escalated fast. I really was drawn to running. I was drawn to the community. I was drawn to the even process of training. You know, some days are a little tougher than others, but even just getting out, lacing the shoes up, going on a run, like I enjoyed the whole process.
Hmm. Yes, yes. My story is looks similar to with you, because you say that you did your first half marathon. Uh, I did my first half marathon in 2018, in the end of 2018, and I did my first ultra marathon one year later. So looks like similar with your story.
Very similar, and we're both still babies in the sport in a way. You know, I feel like we're at least for me. I feel like I'm still learning every time I get out there.
Yes, yes. I think the same. I think the
Yeah.
same. So, I think the same because we have a lot of ultra marathons here in Brazil, different ultra marathons, and when you are when you are training to an ultra marathon, it looks like that you never did an ultra marathon.
Yeah.
Yes, now I will do an ultramarathon in March, on March next year. It will be a 217 kilometers ultramarathon.
Oh,
It will be my third time doing ultramarathons above 200 kilometers.
oh, nice, nice. Which one is that? Is it in Brazil?
The name is Caminhos de Caravaggio. It's
Okay,
in the south part of Brazil.
nice.
I did in 2023 the Brazil 135. It's an ultramarathon that is qualified to Badwater 135. It's the only ultramarathon here that qualified to back to Badwater. And this year I did one ultramarathon called Caminhos de Rosa, 260 kilometers.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, yeah. So I am now. Uh, my aim here in Brazil is to do the main ultramarathons above 200 kilometers here in Brazil.
It's funny how over time distance is very appealing.
Yes.
Um, how far it's possible to go.
Hmm. In US, you have a lot of 100 miles races in US.
A lot of 100 milers. Yeah, it's really grown too in the past. Like even since I started running hundreds, which my first one was in 2018, I believe. Um, but even since then, there's more and more options to pick from. Um,
Mhm.
and a lot of different style races. You know, we have a flat 100, you could have a mountainous 100, hilly, and everything in between.
Here in Brazil, in my state, I live here in São Paulo. We will have the first race, the first 100-mile race here in São Paulo. Because as we here in Brazil, we have the kilometers, not miles. So it's more common here to have 100 kilometers or 200 kilometers. 100 miles is not so common here in Brazil.
Okay. Yeah, I live in New Mexico. We don't have a lot of 100 milers at all. I think we've had like two kind of off and on over the past 5 years, but most of ours are 100K and below
Mhm.
here in our state. So
The most famous U.S. ultramarathons that all the ultrarunners here in Brazil knows is Badwater. Did you do Badwater 135?
I haven't. I've been out at Badwater the past 2 years though, crewing and pacing
Okay.
different runners both years. So I've had the experience of being on a crew team and being on a pace team, and it's a really it's a special event. Like it is like nothing. I cannot compare it to anything I've ever done or felt or
Mhm.
experienced. Because you get so invested in your runner. The heat's intense. The climate is intense. It's a crazy race. Those
It's like,
runners go through a lot.
yes, it's like it's my dream to do Badwater. It's my dream.
I want to do it one year too. Maybe we'll end up there at the same time.
Yes, yes,
That would be awesome.
yes. Who knows? Uh, Other race that the Brazilians knows the most is Arrowhead 135. Did you have the opportunity to be in there?
Not yet. No, actually, Arrowhead is one I was just familiarized with recently. And
Okay.
so I just started doing all my research on that one, and it is cold.
Yes.
It is
Too much
really
fun.
cold. It's an intense race. But maybe, I never say never anymore because the races I said I never was going to do, I ended up doing anyways. So,
Yes, this is a kind of race that I don't have the I I wouldn't like to do this kind of race Arrowhead because of the cold.
yeah.
Yes, I don't know how to deal with the cold. I don't know.
I I appreciate the cold over the heat. Honestly, I prefer it to be cold. I just don't know um, if I have the skill base yet to trudge that 135 miles in the snow with the sled. I might. I we get snow here. It's just not the same sort of icy snow that they get up there, and I believe it's in Wisconsin. I believe so.
Yes, yes,
Or maybe Minnesota. It's one of
yes.
those northern.
Other race that I already interviewed a Brazilian guy who took part was the Tuscobia. Tuscobia. I don't know if it is the same Tuscobia. Tuscobia
I,
is 80 miles. 80 miles.
okay, I haven't heard of that one.
Yes. I don't remember now the state or the city that it was held. Uh, Other race that the Brazilians like the most is Western States. Did you have the opportunity to do?
I got two lottery tickets in this year,
Ah,
so
okay.
we'll find out in December.
In December.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay.
yeah.
We have an athlete here in Brazil that did it two times, if 2 times or 3 times. He's a lucky guy. He's a lucky guy.
Yeah, yeah. It's tough to get into. A lot of people wait many years, and that's a race I would like to do at some point.
Hmm.
Well, honestly, I could say that just about any just about any race. I enjoy racing. I enjoy the competitive edge. So just about anything you could bring up, I'll check. I want to do that one.
Okay, okay. And you said about this challenge that you did. Tell me more about this challenge.
Which challenge are you referring to?
400, the 400 that you said to me. I, for,
The
I forgot now the challenge that
oh
you recent.
um are we 6 days?
Yes. The
Six,
dome.
okay.
The dome. Yes.
Yeah, so in June, I did 6 days in the dome.
Mm-hmm.
It was my first, so that's 144 hours. My first attempt at that style of race.
Mm-hmm.
A friend of mine had suggested it, so I took this suggestion. My husband crewed for that one. It's a 440-meter track
Mm-hmm.
that you go around for 144 hours. It was like nothing I'd ever experienced. Like trying to put what running 144 hours is like into words, and like even sequencing things afterwards, because it all becomes like one very long day.
Mm-hmm.
It was hard. It's still hard to really distinguish between what happened on day one, day two, day three, all the way through the race. But I ended up running 526 miles at that one. And really had a great time. Like the community there at the Dome is great. They play music the whole time. It's the same temperature. It's set to 54 degrees, I
Mm-hmm.
believe it is, and 30% humidity. It never changes throughout the whole race. You have your table with a chair and your food and your cooler and everything right by the track.
Mm-hmm.
And you can sleep behind your table if you want to, or they have a sleeping area upstairs, which tends to be a little warmer. And just the energy in the dome is it's wonderful.
Mm-hmm. 144 hours you run.
Yes. Yeah. And
I
I did have sleep schedules in there,
Mm-hmm.
which is something we hadn't tried before. We had to change it up kind of midway. I think it was like day 2. We realized the original schedule wasn't working. So we switched it up, and it improved upon in the last like 4 days. It got a little bit better, but so 2 hour to 2 hour sleeps
Mm-hmm.
every once in a while, and had sleep schedule, a food schedule, and everything.
Mm-hmm. And it was a course. It was a trail course.
It was so it was concrete floor
Okay.
with a track, and this track wasn't really like a rubberized track that you would normally see. It was just a sticky layer on the
Mm-hmm.
concrete. So basically, it was concrete. There wasn't much forgiveness in the surface. So a lot of people, including myself, there's pictures where I have an icy hot bandage on, and then I have KT tape, and just because of the shin splints and just the constant pounding on that concrete for 6 days.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. I can imagine that. I can imagine that. I
Yeah.
already interviewed a guy, a Brazilian guy, who lives in England, and he did a 6 days race in Italy. 6 days race. He did like, if I'm not mistaken, 800 kilometers. He did in
Wow.
there, and he said about that to me. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's a kind of crazy race. Uh, Here in Brazil, we have the biggest ultramarathon in Latin America. We call the 1,000 kilometer here.
Oh,
So the athletes have 10 days, and they are in a park. They have a course of 1.5 kilometers, and they have 10 days to do 1,000 kilometers here in Brazil.
I love that. That actually
Yes,
sounds like a lot of fun.
yes.
I might, I might come visit Brazil to do that one. I don't think
Yes.
we have any 1,000 kilometers here in the States. Um, yeah, I don't think anybody puts anything on like that.
would be a good opportunity to come to Brazil and do this race.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yes,
why not?
it always happen on the end of September. End of September.
Okay,
Yes,
nice.
and they have the 1,000 kilometers, 500 kilometers, and 100 kilometers.
And that's a good distance. That the 5K is just enough that you're out there for a little while, but not so long that you can't come back and get exactly what you need from your home base.
Hmm. Yes,
Yeah.
it's I did the interview with the four athletes that finished the 1,000 kilometers. It was 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. I did the interview with them, and in the race, if I'm not mistaken, 15 athletes started, and just four finished in there.
Wow.
Yes,
Well,
it's
and the
very
longer the distance, the more things that can go wrong.
yes, yes,
the, the more possibilities there are to troubleshoot. And yeah, so
yes.
those four athletes, very kudos to them.
Yes, we know very well about that.
Yeah.
Everything can go wrong.
Yes. Yes. Well, and that's part of the appeal, I think, of like ultra running is that things can go wrong when you're out there, whether it be 100K or even a 50K. Like stuff can still go wrong, and
Hmm.
you're going to have to troubleshoot. Especially if it's a trail race and you're out by yourself. You got your other runners, but you're going to have to figure out how to get to that finish line
Yes,
or the
yes.
next aid station, or yeah,
You know that you will start, but you don't know if you will finish.
never, never.
Yes.
That's a true statement.
In these 260 kilometers that I did here in Brazil, uh, I passed 3 nights in the road, 3 nights, and each day was hotter because the region that this race was held, uh, we had like 40 degrees Celsius, 42 degrees Celsius. And here in Brazil, we had back in this time some problems with fire. So the forest started to get fired because of the hot, and then the weather was not so good. So in the first day, I had some brief trouble.
Oh,
So it was not so easy. So when I always divided the race in control points. So when I got in every control point, it was like a victory to me
no.
because it was very very difficult, very difficult.
Sometimes those little checkpoints though are all you need, like breaking it into a smaller chunk, but running through smoke,
Hmm.
it's probably the worst, I think. It's the hardest to do. We get fires up here and there's yeah, it's tough to run through that.
Yes,
It's just so hard on the lungs, but not only the lungs, but your eyes. Your eyes take it in, your throat gets sore. It's challenging conditions.
yes, and beside the smoke, the road in there had some thin sand. So when you start running in this thin sand, it like goes to your to
Mhm.
your face, and it make it even worse to breathe. So I
Oh,
remember when I was doing like this, breathing deeply, I start to cough. I start to
oh,
yes. It was not
yeah.
so so easy. And then the next day, 40 degrees and then 42 degrees. It was very difficult.
Gosh, it sounds tough.
Yes.
Yeah.
We have some tough races here in Brazil, and you are invited to do them.
uh, we'll see if I can take him on sometime. Would
Okay,
love to.
yes. Okay, so talking now about backyards. So you had this challenge, this dome challenge, and you run 144 hours. So you were let's say like use it to the backyard to do 87 loops.
Yeah, my legs were really conditioned from the 6 days just for taking that pounding. I thought, they're used to going far. I hadn't done my first 200 miler until the beginning of this year. January was my first time going over 200 miles. And then I have done multiple this
Mhm,
year, 200 milers, mainly in the format of the backyard. Um, I've had the 6 day and then a timed event at the beginning of the year, but the other three have all been within the backyard format.
mhm. Uh, Before the 87 loops, how many loops you did in the other backyards?
So my qualifying race for the USA team
Mhm,
was Seguro Showdown, and that was held in the third week of January in Arizona.
mhm,
And I had never done a backyard before. It was suggested that I go try one out. So I head out there. I registered like a week before. I head out there with my canopy and my food and everything ready to go. Had an idea of what I was getting into, but not a full
mhm,
right. I didn't really have a clue. I knew what a backyard was, but just didn't have a clue what it would all entail as time went on, I guess. And because you can't predict those things, they just kind of fall in place. And so I went out there with the goal of just experience the backyard. If I felt good, that was a silver ticket race for the US team. So maybe I would keep going and I would go as long as I possibly could and hopefully get that silver ticket. And so I
mhm,
did end up winning that one with 65 yards. And the assist, Ryan Medevere actually got on the at large list. So he was also on the US team for Bigs in October. So we
mhm.
got to run together again, which was it was pleasant to get to see the same person you ran with prior to see him at Bigs.
Mhm.
So
Okay, so the world record before the world championship, the US team was from Harvey Lewis with 108 loops.
mm-hmm.
Uh, it was an objective, an aim of the US team to achieve or surpass these 108 loops.
We didn't really talk about it too much. When it was more when we got down to the
Mhm,
final numbers, we started wondering, well, how far could we go? Could we, get in the hundreds? Could we? But it wasn't until probably yard 80 or so that we actually started talking about how far we could go.
mhm,
Up until that, it was just a matter of doing yard after yard, keeping as many of the US team together as we possibly could. The team was really close.
mhm,
Losing people was super sad as they dropped off because we had shared so many stories and conversations and just were really having a good time out there.
mhm,
So we didn't really discuss how far we were going to go.
mhm. Was it held in Tennessee in the
Tennessee, yeah.
yes, it was in the where Lazarus do the world championship.
Yeah, it's the same as the individual course that'll happen in 2025. Same
Mhm.
location.
So the terrain and the elevation gain it's high in there.
It is. It is. I think it's a 430 on the trail loop.
Hmm.
And then
Yes.
there's still, even on the night, like even though it's tame, like it's road, there's still some gain to the night loop too.
Hmm. What was the starting time in the of the backyard?
We started at 7 a.m. here.
7 a.m.
Yes. 7 a.m. on Saturday. Yes.
Hmm. So let's do the calculation. So you had 3 nights in there.
Yeah. It started the fourth night, I believe, because I did 87 yards. So, yeah, I started the fourth night. So 4 days, 3 nights, and then a few hours. Yeah.
Hmm. This is what I am more curious about because I have a huge problem with the sleep. I need to sleep. When I go through the second night, it's very difficult to me. In the race that I did on September, I have terrible hallucinations in there because of this. I needed to sleep in the forest.
I've done
Yes,
that. Been
I
there.
yes I slept 4 times in the forest with my I was with 2 other guys, and we slept in the forest because of that, because in there it was like a road that a place that you don't have some farms or houses or something like that. You go through a checkpoint to other checkpoint, and this 4 kilometers, 50 kilometers, you didn't find nothing, farmhouse, nothing. So we needed to sleep in the forest because because we we didn't know how to continue because we start to hallucinating, and it's very bad. So this is what bring me the curiosity. How did you deal with the sleep during backyard?
So the sleep during the backyard, I really was kind of hoping to get more
Hmm.
than what I got. I could not sleep the first night. I
Hmm.
think I might have got only a few minutes. I think part of it was just the energy um, of it being the World Backyard Championships, right? And knowing everybody in the world was running along with you at that point in time. It was a pretty cool feeling. So I came in super energized the whole first day, the whole first night, and just couldn't sleep. And I struggle really badly on the first night with fighting my normal circadian rhythm. I really want to sleep. That's the only thing I want to do. Even if I can't sleep, like when I'm out on the loop, I want to sleep
Hmm.
and start drifting off. Um, and so I'll do like a run walk method to kind of keep myself awake. Um, on the night yards, I'll put music in, I'll put whatever I need. Um, so night one is always a battle for me. It's really, really tough. Night two, I kind of start to, and Biggs, I was great about finally being able to sleep. Got about 5 minutes every time I came in, 4 to 5 minutes. And would just immediately, I would walk into the corral, walk through the finish line, go to my tent, and immediately go to sleep. I found that to be really, really helpful. And I did that the second and the third night. And into the fourth night, not so much because I was coming in with far less time. So the fourth night I don't think I got much sleep at all, maybe 3 or 4 minutes. But I didn't go through the whole fourth night. I think I got 4 hours in. But hallucinations, I've found they're going to happen. They're unavoidable for me. They happen every single time in a backyard, and I don't get them in 100 miler. Like I didn't even get them really. I had one hallucination in my 6 day event, and
Hmm.
that's only because I think I was sleeping larger chunks at a time. But in the backyard, you're only getting 5 minutes, and all three of mine, I have hallucinated really badly in all three of them, and I just accept them as something that's going to happen. laugh them off and just keep on running. Like, I've never had anything that's been in my path. It's always more in the distance. So it's never anything that's that intimidating or frightening. I did at Biggs, there's these big oak trees that go over the night loop and they kind of create like a canopy effect. So I did have a couple yards where the trees started collapsing on me as I was running on the road. And I came in a little quicker on those yards because I had to get out of those trees. But, for the most part, I find if I just say, hey, this is something that's going to happen to me, it's my mind playing tricks. I'm good with that. I accept it. I seem to do okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes. We need to accept this. We need to accept these hallucinations. Yes.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way around it. I really don't. Just because you're getting so limited sleep, I don't know. Maybe some other people have figured out how not to hallucinate, but that's not my story. I don't know how not to.
Yes. So you slept 5 minutes each loop during the night.
About 4 or 5 minutes, yeah.
It was enough? Was it enough? 5 minutes?
Well, it's enough when you want to keep on going. It no, it did get a little night. The third night got a little scary towards the early morning hours where I was able to fall asleep running on the road. And then I would wake up and realize, because I tried to stay in the middle of the road. Nobody's driving down that road. It's pretty deserted. So I tried to stay in the middle of the road on the yellow line, but I would drift off to sleep as I'm running on the road. And I would wake up and be like halfway in a lane or something, drifting towards the ditch on the other side. So there were a few sketchy points. Luckily Team USA, we were kind of all together in the night loops for the most part. Like, we spread out some, but we were all keeping an eye on each other. So there were a couple of times where a few people got really tired, and even myself, and a teammate would be like, hey, come on, let's go. I'm going to stick with you. We're going to make this yard together. Because we could tell when I think other people were just having a very exhausted loop.
This is good. When you have someone to motivate you.
Or just to keep you on the road.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there were some yards where, like, we were all motivated to get it done, but the sleep deprivation was taking over, or the hallucinations were taking over, or there was so when you have a teammate that says, hey, come on, it is super helpful.
Mm-hmm. Yes, backyard, it's not, let's say it's not a competition, I think. Backyard, it's more like a crew team work.
It's a community event. I agree. My first backyard, I showed up. I had no crew because I signed up like the week before. I did like the first 42 hours solo for the most part, except the crew from the neighboring tent came over at one point in time because I had fallen on the trail loop and had like taken all the skin off of one of my elbows. And he's like, I think you need stitches, but we're just going to, tape it up, gauze it up, call it good. So he came over at some point to help me with that. But when his runner dropped at, I think it was 42 or 43, his runner went to sleep and the crew came over and crewed me. And then the runner came over after he was rested and crewed me until I finished and got my silver ticket. So there was no hard feelings. I mean, we're super good friends. We talk quite a bit. But that is the backyard, that is the community that the backyard is. You want to see everybody else be successful also.
Yes. I think here in Brazil, we did in this World Championship 52 loops. This is our record here in Brazil. But I think we still need to know how to do this team spirit, I think, here in Brazil. because sometimes we have some athletes that go to backyards and thinking that the that this is a competition. This is a competition. So I need to win, no matter what happened. So we need to know about that. We started here in 2022 with backyard, and we are, let's say, learning how to do the backyard thing. But I think we have some athletes that have this competition mind, and they need to put this aside, I think.
And I think that takes time, because even after Bigs, when Team USA afterwards, we're all talking and we're trying to figure out, well, how can we make 2026 even more of a team year than what we did this year? Like, how can we improve upon it? Because this year, the people that had, because we had 9 returning members that had been on the team before, and they said this year, in comparison to the past years, we were a much stronger team. But we're always looking to how to improve that team mentality also, I think, because it is a team effort when you're competing against the other countries and you're all running together and they're running at the same time. It's just you can feel that energy out there.
Yes, yes. Let's say it's US against Belgium against New Zealand, not US against the US. It's
Right.
uh,
Right.
but but here in Brazil we improved a lot the number of loops, because in last year we did 30 loops, just 30 loops. Now we are with 52 loops, and I think Brazil is going on. Uh, I asked you about this sleep deprivation, because yesterday I had the live broadcast with the second place in the World Championship here in Brazil, and he said to me the difficult to sleep in the second night, with the sleep the second night, and I said to him, "Oh, imagine the people from the US, they did 88 loops, or the people from Belgium, they did 110 loops, 5 nights without sleep, and this is this is crazy. It's crazy, crazy."
But it does get to a point, I think, in a backyard where you get in this tunnel vision. You almost end up thinking, like, this is just what I do now. I get up at the top of the hour, I get in the corral, and I run 4.17 miles, and I come back. This is just what I do. And sometimes in some of my backyards, I've only done 3, like I said, but and some of them it comes a little easier than others to get in that motion of, this is just what I do. I get up, I run. I felt like at the showdown it was very easy. It took me a little while at Bigs to get in the rhythm of getting up, getting out, not thinking of anything else. And then some of them I've struggled with, like when I did Ure backyard, I really struggled that whole time to get in the acceptance of doing every single loop and getting up and getting out. I struggled quite a bit, and I couldn't sleep at that one. That one was very hard for me to sleep. So I think that plays a role too. And well, it definitely plays a role in the longevity of that race.
Did you imagine that you would finish the World Championship with 87 loops?
I didn't. I had told my crew, though, before I started, I said, I only want to stop if I'm physically injured or I don't make it back in time.
Okay.
Like I came in with the mindset that I wasn't going to quit. There's not going to be any, I'm not just going out on this loop. There is going to be a reason if I stopped. And a good one too.
Yes.
But yeah, I don't know about 87. I mean, I had little goals. I was like, can I beat my personal best in the backyard? And then I had talked about with Jennifer, who held the prior record for women backyard. I'd spoke with her beforehand about trying to go that 75 yards.
Mm-hmm.
But after that, it was all, I don't know. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
what happens after this. I just keep going. Other people have done it, so
Yes,
I'm gonna
yes,
follow.
yes. What we say, just one more loop, just one more loop.
Yeah. They had it fast too, as you're getting kind of later in the yardage. Like, I think we jumped from like 80 to 85 without me even knowing.
Mm-hmm.
And then 85 got real hard.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
I can't. No, no, I can't. I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that. I, ju- I, ju- I need to do a backyard first to imagine that.
Maybe you'll experience it.
Yes. Here in Brazil, the best women quantity of loops is 40 loops.
Nice. Nice.
Yes. And the athlete was here also. She was the one who did 40 loops.
Oh, nice. Good for
Ye-
her. Congrats.
Yes.
That's
She's a company with us, and this is one of the race organizers. She organized the world championship here in Brazil.
nice.
Yes. I
Wonderful.
think that the people will attend the live broadcast tomorrow because of the subtitles. YouTube will turn on the subtitles tomorrow when we
Okay.
record here the live broadcast, so the people can watch.
Uh-huh.
Uh, what was your average time in each loop?
It was 53, 58, or 59.
Hmm.
It was somewhere in there. And I actually was one of the slowest
Hmm.
on Team USA. And I prefer to go and do my yards much slower
Hmm.
and have less time in camp.
Hmm. This is good. This is good. Some athletes do the loops faster. I
Hmm.
think to rest. When I interviewed Phil Gore, the Australian guy, he said to me that the average was 35 and 40 minutes, 35 40 minutes,
That's
and
fast.
he had like 15 minutes resting. Uh,
Hmm.
and this is how he deal with the sleep. Harvey Lewis, if I'm not mistaken, he did with 52 minutes on average, also 53. So
Mhm.
each athlete has his kind of strategy in backyard.
Right. And it's kind of whatever works best for that athlete. Like if you're one who needs more sleep,
Hmm.
and you want to come in and have more time, um, you also have to be mindful though that you're using more energy if you're doing a faster loop. So
Yes.
there's a give and take. I mean, you're getting more sleep. You are losing more energy. You're going to have to eat more to compensate for that. For me, I'll just fight the sleep monster and
Mhm.
take the less sleep and yeah, fewer fuel um, fewer energy
Mhm.
expenditures.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. How was your feeding and hydration during the race? Did you have lunch, dinner, or something like that?
So probably I kept everything pretty aligned. I would have for some reason I wanted sandwiches, so I had a lot of turkey sandwiches and bacon sandwiches during the race, and I would do those normally like normal lunch and dinner times.
Hmm.
And then I had for breakfast, honestly, macaroni and cheese with bacon, which was
Good.
just a weird combo. And it didn't start until like I think it was the third day in the morning, and it was like yard 49 or something. And I was like, you know what I want macaroni and cheese and bacon. So my crew like mixed it up. It was one of those weird like ultra, this is what I need right now. um I kind of joked about it, like you're out on a yard and you try to come up with the craziest combination of food for your crew to make for you. just so you can give them something to do for the next 45 minutes. So.
Yes, during these races, we have some weirdo wishes or requests.
Yeah, like stuff you would never eat like in a normal like day-to-day basis, right? You just suddenly want it at mile whatever. And yeah, I've had multiple of those, but that I've never had macaroni and cheese and bacon before. That was a first.
Yes, but sounds good. I like it.
Little protein,
Yes.
little
And
carb.
yes, yes, a lot of carb.
Yes, lots of carb.
And how was the weather in there? It rained. It was, let's say, hotter.
So the first day was really nice. We had no weather at all when it comes to rain.
Mhm.
We had no rain. The first day was nice. The first night was really cold. It was chilly. And then after that, the days got hotter each day. We had a cold front roll through before the race. And then during the race, it just got hotter and hotter and hotter after that cold front. So I think on the last day we were running, it was up to like 80 degrees. And the trail course is in the trees. So it holds a lot of that heat.
Mhm.
And that it wasn't too humid, but coming from New Mexico, just about everything is very humid. We sit at about 6% humidity most of the time. So for me, I really felt the stagnant air and the humidity in those trees.
Mhm. Yes, I can imagine it. New Mexico is a hotter state, I think.
It is. Well, we kind of go through all 4 seasons. We have pretty hot summers, and we do have, desert landscape. I am
Mhm.
in the northern part, so I'm up by the mountains. So we actually got our first snowfall this week, and we're supposed to get 6 inches tonight. So we get all 4 seasons to the extreme.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. Where the backyard was held, it's close to the Barclay, where the Barclay is held.
It's about 2.5 hours from where Berkeley is held. Yeah, Frozen Head. Yeah.
Yes, Frozen Head State Park. I asked this because this year a friend of mine was the second Brazilian doing the Barclay, and he was talking about the Tennessee and how cold it is in there.
Mm. I can imagine because our first night was cold.
Hmm.
I was wearing long sleeves and had gloves on, and a windbreaker on top of that, and I haven't had to wear that all year yet. And it gets really cold.
Hmm. Yes, yes. For me, it would be very challenging because I live in a hotter country, so it could be very difficult also.
Yeah. Yeah.
We have here an athlete from Italy here watching us.
Hello.
Yes, from Italy. Well, now I would like to know about how was your muscle conditions during the races, the race. Did you have some muscle pain or let's say blisters or something like that?
I did get a few blisters. Nothing too bad. Actually, when I switched shoes, I got the blisters on like day 2. I didn't do anything with them, didn't wrap them, didn't do anything with them, just switched my shoes and socks, called it good. And by maybe 76 hours in or somewhere in there, I changed my shoes again.
Mm-hmm.
And was surprised to see the blisters were gone. So I didn't really have any issues with feet or anything. My muscles held up really well. I did have something going on from maybe the third day.
Mm-hmm.
with my left calf. I had some tightness and soreness. It felt like cramping more than anything else. Like maybe I was dehydrated, right? It was tightening up and everything.
Mhm.
So my crew tried to roll it out. They tried to knuckle it out, dig their hand into it and everything. So we tried multiple ways. And I would go a few yards and wouldn't even think about it. And then I would have a yard where it was bothering me. And then I would go a few more and nothing felt bad. And it continued kind of, and that ultimately is what ended up taking me out. It seized up and I couldn't complete the yard in time. Um, so that's really the only issue I had during the race for muscle wise, was just that one lower leg giving me trouble.
Mhm. I will show you some photo. This is a strong photo. This is my foot after the race that I did.
Oh wow.
A lot of blisters, and it was like with some. It was not in a good color because I was with my legs down, because I had to come back to my city in a bus, and I lost my plane.
Oh, oh no. So you were sitting for that amount of time, right? And your legs
Yes.
just swelled. Oh, that looks painful.
Mm-hmm.
It
Yes.
looks painful. That
I had.
swelling is just, there's nothing like that swelling after having to travel.
Mhm. I had, let's say, 9 blisters in the end of the race. 9 blisters.
Oh gosh.
Yes, yes. It was tough. It was tough.
Did they take long to heal?
I have here a medicine that when I pass this medicine, it's like 1 day, 2 days. It is good, but I had some difficult to walk during 1 or 2 days. It was very difficult to walk.
Gosh. Oh,
Yes, very very
wow.
painful.
Yeah, I imagine.
I am used to say that blisters is something that can take you out from a race. Blisters.
They definitely can. I my first my first 100 miler um was in Houston, and it was so hot and it was humid. It was in August, and you had to trudge through sand too. And it wasn't a lot of sand, but it was enough that like your feet were wobbling in your shoes a little bit.
Hmm.
And it was a 6 mile loop, so about a 10K loop. And I remember the middle of that first night, in my first 100 miler, and I had a blister. I didn't even know it was a blister, and that thing popped. And I thought I had stepped on a nail. Like I thought I had stepped on a nail that was this big. Um, and I'm in the dark. I have my headlamp. I'm taking my shoe off. I'm in the sand, and I'm looking, and the blister was the size. I mean, it was big. It was huge, the size of a watch dial. And I was like, wow. But it was so painful. So painful.
Hmm. Yes, I already stopped in an ultramarathon because of blister. I already stopped,
Mm, yeah.
but in the two ultramarathons above 200 kilometers, I have blisters, and I deal with the blisters. I deal with them out to the finish, and it was very very painful, very painful.
Yeah.
The this 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 race on September, I had to deal with the blisters during 45 kilometers, and in the other race I had to deal, let's say, 82 kilometers. I needed to deal with them.
That's a long
Yes,
time. It's a
painful,
long time.
painful.
Yeah.
And these 82 kilometers, let's say, took 24 hours. 24 hours dealing with blisters. Yes.
you just gotta tape up the toes and the feet wherever they normally blister, I guess, before heading out. Just
Yes.
prepare them for what's coming.
Yes, you get used to the blisters. Though.
Yeah, or that.
Yes. Well, my friend, now I would like to know when you got in the 87 loop, uh, you started to the 88 loop or you just finished in the 87?
So I started the 88th loop. My 87th loop, to take a step back, was a little bit rough. I started that yard. I had to work out my calf, dig my knuckles into it about halfway through to get it to loosen up again. I made it through the 87th, came in, slept, went to go back out on my 88th, and there's a descent on the night loop that I had been walking. So I walk down that descent, I get to the bottom, and I start to try to run, and I can't get a full rotation out of my left leg. So I can't straighten my left leg entirely. I can't quite get the momentum. So I'm kind of wobbling and hobbling for a little while. I try to loosen it up again. I go a little further, and like 15 minutes in, I had gone to the half-mile mark.
Mhm.
And I decided at that point, like, I'm 15 minutes in. I made it half a mile on a 4.17 mile loop. There's not a chance I can't get my calf to loosen up. There's not a chance I'm gonna make it around. So I turned back around and walked back in.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it's a tough decision to stop, I think.
It is a tough decision to stop. It's, and even after the race, I still, like, there's still the what if, because everything else felt great. And I don't know what if I don't know what if I'm playing with. It's kind of I think if I was in that situation now, I would still say, it's a good idea to quit. But I wasn't done. Like, I wasn't okay with where I was at. I wanted to keep going, I guess, is why I still play the what if game.
Mm-hmm. Yes, this what if is it's difficult. It's difficult. I have this what if. I stopped twice in ultramarathons, and I have this what if.
Mm-hmm.
I still think about this what if.
Yeah, I know how you feel. I have a few other races that I play the what if, and but I think that's why I keep going back to these like backyards. Why I keep going back to ultras is there's always like that little area to prove upon. There's always some place where you can change something, and yeah, it just if I can fix this one little detail, what if that takes 20 minutes off my time? Or what if it makes me a stronger climber? Or what if I do this in training, what's going to happen when I rate? So I like the puzzle pieces that ultra running is.
Yes, yes. There are several what ifs. Several what ifs.
Yes.
Yes.
So many. And I'm even playing with, like, what if I do this now, like, to strengthen my calf, to do whatever I need to do. What if I do all these things? Can I avoid this happening again?
Mm-hmm. Yes, but we always have this what if, but let's say that your performance was simply amazing. You did 10 loops more than the prior record, so it was amazing, amazing. I think you are, let's say, happy with your performance.
Yes, I can say I'm very happy with my performance, and I really enjoyed all the time I was out there, all 88 yards. Like, I appreciative to be running that course and running with those people and running virtually with people around the world. It was a really unique experience, and I'm happy with what I was able to do on that day.
Mm-hmm.
And I just hope there's a little more in there too.
Mm-hmm. And next year, we will be attending the World Championship to support the.
Yeah, so right now I am on the at-large list. I think I'm like 68, somewhere in there, on the at-large list to be on the individuals. So I hope I get to actually run it. I hope that holds. I know there's a few backyards in the world that really throw up some good mileage, some good distances, but I hope mine's secure enough that I get to actually run the individual championship. If not, I would love to be there in any other capacity,
Mm-hmm.
because it's such a special event.
Yes, for sure, for sure. And I would like to know about your support crew during the World Championship.
My crew was incredible. I cannot say enough about them. So it was a combination of my husband, Joe, who's crewed me before, and my friend Jennifer, who lives in Tennessee. So she knows all the ins and outs. She'd actually crewed some of the backyard events before, and she had run littles, which they hold 3 weeks before the big competition. So she had run littles 3 weeks prior. So she had the experience, at least on the day course. They'd closed at least on the night course, they'd closed the day course because it was real wet.
Mm-hmm.
So I had both of them out supporting me. Their energy was great. They were on top of everything. They seemed to be having a good time too, all the other crews. It seemed as though when runners went on the yards, like they would go talk to each other and have conversation. They had a campfire going, and everybody was hanging out, having a good time. But then they would set a timer, and about 48 minutes of each hour, and then they would start getting ready for whatever I needed, which usually I had no clue what I needed, and they were so good at anticipating
Mm-hmm.
every need. Honestly, they were on top of it. Yeah.
Yes, to have a support crew is very important during a backyard. Yesterday, the athlete that was here with me, he said this. He took like 55 minutes on average, and these 5 minutes he was resting, and the support crew came with water, came with hydrolytes, came with something to eat. So it was, let's say, prepared. If he didn't have a support crew, he would need to do the loop faster, and to go in there to take, and the support crew do the difference.
It's so hard because I've had the experience of doing the first 42 yards of a backyard solo. And it's hard. It's hard to come in. It's hard to get everything together. And once you're tired after that first night, you're kind of tired, and then it progressively does get worse. And so like I would forget these things, like making sure I was getting in electrolytes and water, making sure I was eating a balance of sugary stuff and salty stuff. And I don't even think I was really able, when I was crewing for myself, I don't think I was able to make a sandwich, or, it was all just grab and go stuff. So having it from the very beginning, where the crew was making a sandwich for me and having it ready, and then saying, hey, you didn't have any electrolytes in the past couple hours, you need some, or whatever. It was nice to not have to think about that. One of the things that I've heard, and I truly believe, is like The crew is the brains.
Yes.
Like they're holding everything together.
They think for you.
All I have to do is run. I'm the muscle. I just run. That's it. But they are holding everything together. It is impossible without them.
Yes. I think to achieve 8-7 loops, it is impossible.
Yes. Yes. Yes, it definitely would have been. And there was even like on that last yard, I could feel it when I got out of the chair. Like I could feel that I just couldn't straighten my knee. I could feel the tightness in the back of my leg. I could feel that maybe this might be my last yard. And I even told my crew, I said, I don't know if I'm going to make this one. And they said, we don't care. You're going to go try it. You're going to go do it. You're not going to quit in the corral. Like you're going to quit out on course if that's where you quit. And so I'm really glad that they pushed me out, you know, and had me attempt the last yard because at least I didn't have the what if of sitting in the corral. At least I was pretty confident that I wasn't gonna make that.
Well, now I think that you are thinking in beat your 8-7 loops or not.
I'm thinking what? I'm sorry.
You are thinking in beating your 8-7 loops to break your own record in the future?
Yeah, I hope so. I mean, my goal in everything, like anytime I do one of these, is always to go further. Anytime I do an ultra, even if it's not a backyard, to do better than I did the last time. I'm very competitive, not so much with everybody else, but I'm competitive with myself. And so what I did before, I always want to beat that. I always want to become a better version of myself.
Yes. And I think you will beat the 8-7 loops, I think.
I'm looking forward and I'm hoping that I do get the opportunity to run with some of these legends next October. And that at-large list holds, because I think that would be an incredible opportunity, just to run with all of those people, but also to improve upon what I've already been able to do.
Well, a part of the individual World Championship, do you have some ultramarathons that you will attend next year?
Yeah, so I will be doing once again a snowdrop. It's called Snowdrop. It's in Houston. It's a charity run at over New Year's. I've done that every year. This is my third year doing it. It's a wonderful race. It's a 55 hours. So I'll be doing that one. And I'm also doing Sits Jours de France. So I'll be doing Sit Stays in France in April. And then I have a few things thrown out there that I haven't committed to, that I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I'm going to pick yet, but I have a few ideas kind of floating around.
Well, and now you will think in the 1,000 kilometers here in Brazil also.
I know. Well, that's really appealing. that distance just sounds so nice in like a type 2 way, but I mean, it really does sound like a fun event. It really does.
In US, there is an event that is 2,000 miles, if I'm not mistaken, in New York.
It's 3,200 miles. It's around a block in New York City. It's a Chamonix, I believe. And it's in the fall. I don't know if it's invitation or application. I'm not really sure the route to get in, but it's just a block in New York City that you run until you hit 3,200 miles.
3,100 miles.
Yeah.
a block.
That's a distance. And I think there's only like 20 or 25 people that do it every year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think it's a small group.
And before the pandemic outbreak, we had in Greece 5,000 kilometers race.
Oh wow.
Yes, and one Brazilian finished this 5,000 kilometers.
Was it around a block or was it a point like
It
loop
was
point?
in uh, how can I say it now? It's like a soccer field, and they run on the soccer field. It's
Okay.
athleticism. I forgot the word now, but they run like, let's say, 1 kilometers, just 1 kilometers, five
Oh,
thousand 5,000 kilometers in. He took 54 days to
wow.
complete. Yes.
That's
In
huge.
Yes, in France there is a race that they run the whole France. It's 3,800 kilometers.
Wow.
Also,
Wow.
we had a Brazilian that finished it. Also, the Brazilians are crazy.
I love it.
Yes, yes. Here in my channel, I always bring these guys. They are they are amazing.
Maybe the Brazilians will be the next one holding the backyard record.
Who knows?
You
Who knows?
never know.
Yes, who knows?
Anything can happen.
Yes. I will try to interview the three Belgian guys who did the 110 kilometers. I will send them an email here to invite them to an interview.
Oh, I
Uh,
would love to give that a listen.
and I think they could go further because the three stopped in 110.
Yeah. Yeah. I I think so too. It'll be interesting to see like what the limit is for a backyard. How far can people really go?
Hmm.
Because I don't think we've reached that limit yet.
Yes, I always think about that. What is the limit?
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah. And
because.
what's going to be the limiting factor?
Mhm. When I was talking with Phil Gore, he said to me that when he achieved the 101, he felt that he could do in 24 hours more. So he could achieve 120, 125 loops.
Wow.
Yes, it's so.
And that's huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're seeing that it could be possible.
Hmm. Where could we stop?
Yeah.
We simply don't know.
No.
Well, my friend, and how was the your recovery after the race?
Yeah, so recovery's gone pretty well. It's been a little slower than I like it to be. It took about 7 days to straighten my leg fully, um, but I'm able to run without pain. So I've been doing shorter distances, easier terrain. Unfortunately, avoiding the mountains and trails for right now. More road running. But this week, I really feel like I kind of turned a corner in recovery, where I'm feeling stronger. I'm rested. Getting rest was a big thing. It's really hard um, for me after a backyard to sleep. You would think, I mean, at least I thought, like the minute you're done, the only thing you're going to want to do is sleep. And I find that for all of mine, the first night, I am only able to sleep 3 or 4 hours, um, which is just crazy. But I think you're just in that sequence, in that structure of not sleeping a lot. And then it takes a good week for me to get back to like a normal sleep pattern.
Hmm.
Um, we were actually, after Biggs, my husband and I were in the hotel room and we were talking, and it was mid-afternoon, like 1:00, and I fell asleep on him in the middle of a sentence. I was talking to him about something and I just went out. So eventually it does catch up. It's just not the first night.
Mm-hmm. Yes, it's crazy. Like the body simply adapts to the situation. You
Mm-hmm.
were running 4 days, uh, every hour you were running, and the body simply adapt with that, adapt with the sleep the deprivation. So it's crazy about that. It's crazy.
The human body is resilient. It's amazing. The stuff ultra runners and endurance athletes are able to put on their bodies, and their bodies adapt and get ready for the next event and get ready for the next training cycle. And it does what it has to do to keep us doing what we enjoy, right? It's crazy to think that even just last year, I was never contemplating really doing this distance, and these sort of events. And now my body is just like, okay, this is what we do. And it's taken time to get there, but yeah, it's incredible.
Hmm. Yes, and now your body's saying you can go further. You can go further.
Yeah. Why not?
Why not? Just come
Take it
along.
on.
After how many days you did some running after the World Championship?
I waited 5 days after
Five.
the World Championship to run. And like I said, I couldn't straighten my knee yet, but I did anyway. Is probably not the best call, but I really enjoy running. So I was getting a little stir crazy. And so I went out with my dog and my husband, and we went on a nice, easy run around the block and did about 3 miles, did about a 5K, and then came back and just kind of assess the situation and damage done and what I was ready to do. Which after that, I kind of realized, okay, I'm not ready to do double digits or get out there for a long time, but I can do short little runs for a
Mhm.
little while longer.
Well, my friend, so last question to you. I would like to know about how is your daily routine, your training daily routine. You run how many times in the week? You do some weightlifting or other sports?
So I don't follow a very specific training block or cycle. I run completely when I feel like running. One of the things I do is I run commute to work. So I live about 3 miles from my work, and so I'll run to work in the morning, and then run back in the afternoon. And then I can add, if I'm feeling good that day, or have extra time in the morning or whatever, I can add distance and switch the route up. So some days, I mean, my shortest possible distance is like 5 miles in a day. But a lot of times I just feel good, and I'll choose to do much longer.
Mhm.
I try to hit the trails one time during the week, and then once or twice on the weekends.
Mhm.
I think running roads and then trail running kind of balance each other out. They complement each other, and I enjoy doing both of them. So I try to incorporate both trail running
Mhm.
and road running into my week. And then I strength train, try to lift heavy. I have a gym at home, so I'll do 2 or 3 times a week, 30 to 60 minutes of
Mhm.
strength training. And that's upper and lower body,
Mhm.
because a lot of times as runners, we forget that our upper bodies do still
Yes.
need to be strong. And I fell into that trap a few years ago, and was able to self correct, but it did affect my running temporarily.
Hmm. Yes, we need to strengthen the upper body because of the backpack.
Yeah. Yeah. Because of the backpack we have to carry with all the food that we want to eat.
Yes, yes, yes. Sometimes we take like a 5 kilos, 6 kilos. We need
Yeah.
to get stronger.
Yeah. And when we're going the distance too, if we're gonna go the further we want to go, the stronger our backs have to be, our core has to be, like our whole alignment, right? We have
Hmm.
to be strong to endure for that amount of time and that amount of distance.
Hmm. Yes, yes, for sure. Well, my friend, so 1 hour and 20 minutes talking. It was very good to have a chat, a conversation with you.
Yeah.
And many thanks again to have this honor, your first live broadcast talking to
Yeah.
Brazil. And I am sure that the Brazilian athletes will watch the next days. And let's say you some other Brazilian ultramarathoners in your Instagram for
Yeah.
sure.
Awesome. I love it. Yeah,
So
thank you so much for having me on. I really enjoyed this conversation, and just talking about backyards, and also, gosh, you taught me about all these different different longer races I can explore around the world. Who knows?
yes, I will send to you the Instagram for this 1,000 kilometers race,
Okay.
and I think you will. Who knows? Who knows? You can come to Brazil and do.
Oh, it does sound wonderful. It really does.
Okay. So, my friend, have a good night in there,
You
and
too.
see you later.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Bye.